Players 26 for another classroom review.
We reviewed Mr. Norby's 7th grade woodshop class, and how are we feeling about that today?
So,
In the first 5 minutes when we first walked in.
Well, I was I was excited to see where we were gonna be taken when that kid just got kicked out right away.
yeah, for real, I thought it was gonna be like a little bit more.
No, like when he came up to us and he's like, "You guys picked a good class." I expected it to be just more.
Yeah,
Really,
for
like,
real.
interesting.
I feel like I was like falling asleep a little bit just because, kids
Maybe-
can't be in the workshop.
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe because they were in the workshop, because they weren't in the workshop, they weren't as interesting.
Like, as 7th graders, I can see, just observing the class, like, I feel like I can see why they aren't allowed at the woodshop.
No,
Because.
Wait, honestly, I was super excited to see what projects they were working on or something.
Yeah,
But then,
no,
they were as soon as they were
like,
watching a video.
I feel like I think it would have been more entertaining if we did it like middle of the year, because then they would have actually probably been in the
Yeah, when
workshop
they
had
rather than
projects
in
on
the
their phone.
classroom.
Because they were
Yeah,
stuck in the classroom and they just didn't seem interested in anything that was going on.
No.
No.
Alright, let's run it back to the beginning of this.
So the beginning
The beginning of this,
class when
Class.
Thomas got kicked out
Yeah.
right away.
Alright.
So, we got last pick of, what teacher we wanted to observe.
Yeah.
So.
I wish we would have gotten Grodcheck.
And that would have
That
been
was
such a fun
fun.
class.
Yeah, because he's just so,
I know,
Oh, he's sad. I feel like we're also sending Rajak too.
I can't use my class. They were just like, oh, it's fun.
They were just like, okay, go get second. So we
No.
got last third.
Last pick, it's okay.
Yeah, and these 7th graders were horrendous.
They stunk. Like, they actually had a
Bro, when
stench coming off of them.
when I first walked in, there was no chairs. I went to go grab a chair, and at first it smelled like wood shop when I walked in, and then I go closer to the kids, and I just get a
No.
wee bo.
It was all
That was it.
it was all sawdust and then just straight sweat.
Yeah, it was.
No, like,
Terrible.
it's like how people smell like after like a big game of like basketball or volleyball. Like, it was
Even when
terrible.
we were trying to find the classroom, like when we walked into welding first, the difference between just those two
Yeah.
classes alone,
Like
insane.
the smell in the freaking hallway versus in the
Yeah.
classroom is
I was,
terrible.
and then Thomas got kicked out.
As soon as we walked in the door, it
Thomas was getting
alright, you
kicked
can
out.
leave the classroom now.
no.
It was-
Like,
And
he
then-
didn't care.
No, he didn't. When we interviewed him, I asked him, I was like, so how often do you get kicked out of class and why? He just was like, 2-3 times a week. Like, it was just so nonchalant. Like, it didn't really matter.
In that class alone.
Yeah,
Or,
like this
distracting.
class alone.
How often are you in the classroom instead of the shop? That's only this week, but when we interviewed Mr. Norby, he said it's been. I asked him, why can't the kids be in the shop? And he said, the kids can't follow simple directions and can lead to a safety. Because, they're 7th graders. If they don't listen in a shop class,
And they're like idiots.
yeah. It would be completely different if it was garage check and the kid wasn't listening, because what are you gonna do in a classroom? But in a shop class, there's shop tools and saws
And it was,
stuff.
it was also
It's
the
stuff.
fact that they said that it was before winter break that they stopped doing shops.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said
I'm not hear that part.
he said they did book work for a week,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were watching that video.
Yeah,
What was it even?
Have any of you guys had like a woodshop class?
Yeah. and back
Were
in
you
the
ever in the
grade.
classroom that much?
No,
I had never had
not
a
until
wood
the
shop.
end when we didn't have time. And Thomas told us when we interviewed him that they were in the classroom instead of the shop because there wasn't enough time for another project. But that's not what Norby said.
No, that is not what Norby was like. It was just really ticking him off, I think. He was over the 7th graders.
Well, but you could tell that he felt bad for the kids who were actually on task
Yeah.
and followed directions too.
There was
I
like
feel
a
There were a few kids in there who were
It's,
actually listening.
there's that back corner that we kind of sat by, like the girls.
Yeah,
like,
because they were watching the video
yeah.
about the.
and then you could tell the class was very divided.
You can tell that there's no actual friend groups that were in that class, besides maybe those boys in the back.
Yeah.
All random
And
kids.
those two up front.
The two up
They
front.
were,
Bro,
they were talking
they
the
were
story.
They
so
were
loud.
yapping.
Like the little kid in the glasses, I swear every time I looked over, his mouth was wide open.
Yeah, and he was he's
No, like
tapping him on the shoulder, and this kid's just trying to watch the video, and he was just yapping in his ear.
Yeah, half the kids were watching the video, the other half were fidgeting, talking, smelling each
It was
other.
all the all
Okay,
the boys.
I don't
I
know.
saw Play-Doh being,
Multiple
That's
times.
what
yeah.
Ashley said too.
I didn't
Yeah.
catch that one.
Okay, I don't know what it was, but when that kid, the hick one in the back that just
Yeah.
got up and left, that made me so angry for some
He
reason.
threw his chair back and
Like,
started
yeah,
stomping
literally
out of
just
the
like-
classroom.
And then you could hear his
Dorky.
boots just clanking like
Yeah,
on the ground.
Everybody just turned and watched him, and then he just walked back
He
in.
like threw something away outside of the classroom and then came back and started leaning like back, like it was like a wall like this. And he had his chair like all the way back leaning, and it was so distracting.
They were
for
all like
them.
that. None of them actually like
Yeah.
cared about what was going on at all.
When
They were
Thomas
so
got-
disinterested.
When Thomas got brought back into the classroom, he immediately was distracted.
Mhm. It was a little. I felt bad for Norby because he's just trying to like have a fun shop class, and these 7th graders
He was
just.
online shopping.
He was no, really, I was looking at his computer and he was looking at like wrenches and stuff.
Um,
What?
You need a new
I
stuff.
don't know.
Oh,
Every time one of
you're
them started
right.
talking, they would just all go off and get like distracted for a minute, and then nobody would quiet them down.
No, it would get so loud so quick.
mhm. It was like a domino effect.
Or that Xbox controller.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
So
that
loud.
kid. That kid
In the
in
back.
messing with the Xbox controller. I was like, "What are you doing?
No,
Why do you have
okay,
an Xbox controller?"
Like, does he have like something with him that he's playing on, or no? Did he just
He
use a
does-
controller?
Can you connect it to your phone?
I know. Well,
Oh,
I know
can
you
you?
can do it to your phone and your Chromebooks, but he didn't have either of those.
No,
open.
he was-
He was just
Messing
Like
with
with
the
the
No,
controller.
I literally wrote down something I look up, and there's just this kid who's just like clicking on all the buttons.
I don't know. I was like, "What are you doing?"
I was looking jealous.
And then there was like that kid that just like came in and was like, "Where do you want this fan?" And I was like,
it was
box
Gordon
fan.
Sanger,
"Yeah, it
Gordon
was Colton's
Sanger.
brother." And I was like,
And oh no, when that kid came in, you can tell he was the talk of the grade because they were like, "Hey, what are you doing
Yeah.
here? What are you doing here?" They were excited to see
Where
him.
do you want this fan?
"Yeah."
No,
I
I
was
was
like,
like, yeah, just throw it somewhere.
At first,
I-
Norby seemed confused when he brought the fan in.
Yeah,
at
he was
first,
like-
didn't know what it was.
He's like, "What the frick?" I'm kidding. Also, I feel like they were just very, like, uninterested in what the video was on. Like, I don't even remember what the
This-
video was
the-
on because
it was
I
on-
even was uninterested.
There was like a dad and a daughter who like build like
the honeycomb
it was like
thing.
unconventional things or something.
I don't know.
And it was just a project and they weren't interested in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I was
Wasn't it like a playhouse?
Yeah,
or
there were, it was
something?
like a playhouse thing, but it was like out of an old concrete tunnel or something.
Like a drum,
Concrete
concrete,
yeah,
like
concrete
drum.
Yeah, I think I was more interested in that video
Is that
than the kids.
The concrete drum, is that what's on the back of those big concrete
Yeah,
drums?
that spins and moves
Oh.
the concrete down.
That's why they were cutting out the spirals. And
Oh my gosh, that makes
Yeah.
so much more sense now.
And also, I feel like when I was like writing stuff down, I'd like look up, and then all the kids that I would be writing about, like in the back corner, they'd like look and just stare at me.
It was such a
Like they knew what I was writing about.
that class was almost so boring to like observe because nothing happened, and they were all so bored the entire time. You could tell they just
It was just like a lot of chitter chatter.
yeah, a lot of talking. There wasn't any actual like class things going on. Like if they were in the shop, we would have been able to observe like how they were working, but it was just kind of we just watched them sit there for an hour.
Yeah. Also, I feel like there was a lot more boys. I wrote down what the exact number was at the time. I don't know if there's any kids gone or anything. But it was like 11 boys, 8 girls or something. And I could tell it was like very divided because the girls were all in one area and then the boys were like surrounding the rest of the table.
Well, because I mean, it usually is the impression that guys are more into woodshop, but it's also the fact that they were the ones who ruined it for the entire class,
Yeah.
which is weird.
You could tell
Mhm.
the girls were all sitting there quiet, watching the video, just like trying to get through the hour. But
Yeah. Wasn't there a girl that asked to go to the bathroom or no? That one girl. I
Not
think
sure.
it was in like the last 5 minutes because he was like, we're literally out and like.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it was.
Yes.
And I was like, girl, look at the time, you know? Like,
Girl, look at the time.
Like you ain't going pee in like T-minus 4 minutes. Like,
No, in
minus 4
the
minutes.
walk from the wood shop to the bathroom is a hike.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. But I wish we would have gotten like them either in the shop or like our original pick garage check.
Mhm.
Because then we would have had a lot more to like talk about or even observe.
Observe. Yeah.
yeah, it was just a lot of kids, you know, not paying attention and obviously like not wanting to do what they were doing. But you could definitely tell why they were not in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can see just from their behavior in like a quiet classroom that don't listen, they don't follow directions. Like,
Very
they just,
disobedient.
If they couldn't stay quiet for more than 10 minutes, then imagine how they were acting in the wood shop with.
with all of
Cutters and,
everything
like,
going
yeah,
on, so
tools.
much like
There's-
out of control.
With them being like so like not listening, I feel like there's so many things that could go wrong. So like honestly, Norby did the right thing with not letting them in.
Yeah, using the
For
power
sure.
tools and everything, somebody would have lost a finger.
Yeah, for real. It would have been the talk of the school.
I wish he could have like divided the class up and let the good kids go work on shop.
Yeah, you could definitely tell. Even Norby said in our interview, that he thinks we could tell who
Mm-hmm.
It
were
was
the
100% that back corner.
Yeah.
Corner, that one does.
and then that Landon kid that always comes to
Yeah, the
he
one in
was-
the front.
He like kept like looking at the video, looking at me, and then being like,
He's just a troublemaker in general.
yeah, that kid is a troublemaker. Also, the kid in like the far back corner, like sitting on the corner, that kid.
Was that the one in the red sweatshirt?
That kid would not watch. He would not sit quiet. He would not sit still.
They're just also fidgety.
I feel like maturity wise, they're gonna grow up hopefully soon. Like in 8th grade, I feel like it's a different level of maturity even within a year. You know,
Within a year. Yeah.
maybe for the girls. I don't know about guys.
I feel like guys, I feel like they mature a lot freshman year, then after freshman year, they just lose all the maturity that they gained.
Yeah.
Well, it also feels like they only mature in like certain aspects, you know what I'm saying? Like only certain areas mature while the rest stays childish. Like even the kids in our grade are still.
Yeah. I agree.
What is wrong with our grade? Like,
Also, there was some cuddling going on.
okay, I actually, like, genuinely, those two kids on the front, the one with the Xbox controller, like the blondie and the
Oh my
brunette,
god, yes.
genuinely, I would look over and he'd literally be like this. He'd literally be like,
He was like
that.
sniffing him too.
That's like
Yes,
weird.
they
I
They
don't
were
know.
all over each other
They
in
were,
front
like,
of the classroom.
actually cuddling.
I don't know. I feel like
I have it written down somewhere.
yeah.
Was it Isaac's little brother that was in there?
Isaac's little brother was
in
in
the
the
front of the
front.
classroom? Yeah,
I
him
feel
and
like-
his friend were just,
Yeah, who's the younger?
I feel like
yeah, they were talking a lot.
that's just. I mean, if that's what floats your boat, I guess with friends. Like if you're like all of your friends, but I feel like I don't do that with my friends. Like
In class.
in class too. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. But also they're 7th graders and what they're like 13,
Yeah,
Something
like
like
that
that.
makes sense.
12, 13. I don't know. But like thinking back to like 7th grade, I feel like I think I wasn't that bad, but I probably was.
I feel like I've gotten worse.
Honestly.
I don't know.
I don't know. Overall, they just, obviously all the kids just looked like they didn't want to be there. Even the girls who were paying attention looked bored.
Yeah.
They looked bored, disinterested, and they just were disobedient.
I just feel like they spent the hour in a complete state of like indifference. Like they did not want to be there. They were fidgety, talkative, uninterested. Like I just feel like
They just didn't care.
No.
And Norby looked like you could tell it was like a regular thing, I guess, because of the way that Norby just kind of sat there and ignored it. I know back when I had his classes, he was like a lot more present. He would talk to us a lot. He would like give us a lot of directions and everything. But that entire time, he just sat there and ignored the class, except for when he had to kick the one kid out at the beginning.
Yeah, he had to quiet them down. Like probably halfway through the class, they got really loud, and he had to like say something again, and then they slowly started to quiet down.
Yeah, but it wasn't very like stern or like.
He would just kind of be like, he'd say like a name, or he'd be like, shh.
Yeah, but you could tell that it like they're like that so much that he just kind of gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
in the way that he just was on his computer shopping or whatever.
I
Yeah.
feel like he was
He
just,
obviously didn't
he
want
was
to be
just
there.
ready for the next class to where he can
Yeah.
be himself and like the type of teacher he is.
Well, cause
Yeah.
he like when we walked in, he was like, I didn't bring him food, and he goes, do your parents know how much of a failure you are? And I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fun class.
Yeah, and he was going on about how we picked a great class and the 7th graders are just so awesome. Like he was being sarcastic and like making jokes about
Yeah.
how bad they are all the
Mhm.
time. So you can tell.
I wish we also could have seen them in the shop because I feel like it would have been a lot worse too, like with their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we would have gotten like,
a lot more
Probably
stuff.
would have watched somebody cut their hand off.
Because
Right.
the only thing the main thing I got from it is how uninterested and like how disrespectful they were to Norby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I wish there would have been more that we could have talked about, but it was really just that.
There wasn't much to take away from it at all,
Mm-mm.
other than that they just didn't care. None of them cared. Even Norby didn't care because he just like.
He was just like ready for the next class.
He's like so used to it.
Yeah, he did look used to it, and I feel bad for him, cause like in our interview, in our interview, he like talked about like how these kids, like those mean boys, were just so reckless that it was like almost like a hit to him. Like it, I don't know how to explain it. Like it,
Like it reflected on his teaching.
yeah.
You mean?
Like he was like, what did he say? Shoot, I don't even remember. But he was like talking about how he's talked to them like multiple times about it, and they just continue to disrespect that,
Oh.
which is why they got kicked out of the shop. So I don't know.
So he feels like it's like reflecting poorly on him.
Not even that. I feel
Or
like it's
what?
just like reflecting poorly on them. Like it's just like a, I don't know.
Because with the way he was like telling it to us, you could tell that it was an ongoing thing, and it wasn't just like happened randomly one day. Like it happened throughout the entire semester.
And he was just like over it.
So he
Which-
had to give them punishment or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did
So
do
he
a
just took
week
away
of
the shop.
workbook, I think he said, which that was the week prior to our thing. I don't know what they did earlier in the week we observed, but yeah, they basically just watched the video. I mean, sat there.
I don't know if I would call it watching the
Yeah.
video.
But yeah, that's my main takeaway. Yes.
You gotta sum it up. Whoa, what did I just say?
So our
Try again. Try again.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Think we got it summed up.
Yeah.
I do think
Can we just go on about this, the one kid that was like leaning in his chair?
Oh my god. Should we demonstrate?
Yes. Yes,
All right.
demonstration.
Alright, how loud is this gonna be?
Oh, maybe go like up here.
Vaca.
It's fine. So he's in his chair, right? And then he's just sitting there. And then out of the blue he just goes
Yes.
and then he freaking like slams the door open, right? Throws his and freaking stomps back.
In his clunky cowboy boots.
No, they were literally.
They were like,
he was so
else is
massive
massive?
too. Like, I looked
yeah,
at
he
him.
was so
Massive.
tall.
And then when he
He
sat
was
down,
so tall. He was like 6 feet tall.
and then when he sat down, he freaking slams his chair back down, and then he goes.
That is a very accurate
And he
representation.
just sat there and he was like.
I just know.
Yeah.
Oh,
He definitely thought he was cool as he thought he was hot. Made me so angry. Like, what are you doing? Like, friggin', I hope you fall on your you are just an absolute.
we're being too loud.
Maybe I don't know, but he is just an absolute like
Terror.
terror. Because that kid would not either. Like
Well,
I.
you could tell him and
Ball this
Thomas.
out.
You could
Yeah,
tell.
we're bleeping it all out.
Yeah, I'll put it fast or something.
No, then just go.
You could tell him and Thomas were like the ones that like were just like the most troublesome because as soon as Thomas came back in the classroom, those two were just bickering back and forth, not shutting up, and Thomas was then leaning
It's
back
so
on his
funny
chair.
because Thomas is this big and that kid's like.
No, that
He was 6
when
feet
he-
tall
when
at
he-
least.
when he stood up, I had to like adjust myself for a second. I was
Yeah.
like, who is this kid? Why is this 7th grader 6 foot tall right now? And then
I know,
I
he's
just
taller
got
than
the
me.
boots on. That's why.
I just know he's gonna be one of those kids that drives his tractor to school when he's
Ah! No, and then those two kids, they made me so angry in the front.
in the front.
I was just getting so mad.
Like, Loki, I was just trying to watch the video, and then I just kept talking.
I was
couldn't
trying to
do it.
find anything to observe, and I was like, man, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen.
This
in
is
my life.
that was like one of the hardest things. Like I feel like that was harder than an essay.
Writing
'cause
about
I-
how bad they smell because there's nothing else to write about.
yeah, like there was nothing to write about besides that they were talkative.
I remember catching myself. I was like watching the video, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm not supposed to be.
No, I was lucky
so-
you locked in.
I was like, wait, I'm supposed to be
I was just
observing
like,
right now.
I was like,
At least nobody has good taste in like films or whatever.
yeah.
Good taste.
But anyways, that's basically.
I think that's basically it.
Well,
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for
Mystery Slayers 26.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit that follow button.